Hello, Church on the Ridge worship team. It is Rachel O'Neill here. It is great to see you today. David has asked me to just put together some videos that is going to help us learn and reflect on our stage presence as a team. Just a little background. I grew up in a church that was very, very much more traditional and conservative in terms of their worship practices. My church was extremely musical, but in a much different way. Worship looked like standing up and standing very still and straight and holding your hymnal and listening to the organ and singing just beautiful sounds, harmonies, grandma's singing harmony, dad's singing harmony, everybody's singing harmony, and the choir is singing, and that type of worship. And I still to this day so appreciate that kind of worship. Our Church on the Ridge is much more of a contemporary worship service, and I have learned to appreciate that kind of worship as well. And one of the things that is important to a more contemporary worship experience is not just the way that the worship team sounds, but the way that they look. And it's important because since we're up there on stage, we're in lights, people are looking at us to say, okay, what is the example I should be following? What are the things I should be looking for and listening for to what it looks like and sounds like to be engaged in worship? And so if we are just standing still and we sound good, that could be fine, but it's not going to be engaging enough for the people in the congregation to say, oh, this is something I should be, paying more attention to, and I should really be interested in, instead of just kind of ho-hum listening to some background music. If we're engaged with our bodies and our voices, it's going to be more engaging to the eye, and people are going to be more drawn in and therefore drawn into Christ, because that is our entire goal, is to draw people into what is that biblical, just super unique way of worshiping through music that God has given us. So we are going to talk about this week moving, and I think we're pretty good. I'm talking specifically vocalists now, but we're pretty good at using our arms and our hands in moving, and that is a great first step, I think, for me too. That was a great first step. I didn't used to raise my hands in worship, and now I do, and I like it a lot. There's the raising the hands, but I'm talking moving as in moving our whole entire body. So the first thing I think we should just really think about is how we're using our feet and actually moving. Now, I'm not talking doing a little can or anything, but really think about using the space around you. I don't know, maybe think of like a 2-foot circle bubble around you that you can feel free to move in. When we're vocalists specifically now, when we're holding our mics, whether it's on the stand or not, we can move back and forth. We can move this way and this way, whether or not that's kind of like, stepping up when you're leading a part or not, but just really just moving to the music and thinking that you can be just moving around. You do not have to be just in one spot. And yes, we can move our feet. I mean, you could think of it as dancing a little bit. I know some people are like, dancing, ooh. I don't dance, neither do I, at all. But, using our feet to move a little bit, whether it's side to side, feeling that beat a little bit. I know you can't see my feet, but you can imagine what I'm doing with my feet, just moving side to side a little bit. Instrumentalists too, slap of the bass back there. Just moving our feet, and that the feet therefore will move our body. So moving our upper body, moving side to side, swaying a little bit. I've talked about nodding the head. Again, we're not looking for that would be awkward. But just, bobbing the head to the music, especially if it's a faster song, doing like this, and just really feeling the music in your body. That is something that is natural to me. I've been a musician my whole entire life. I know all of you guys have as well. But just feeling the beat. In my elementary school class where I teach my music students, the whole thing we want them to do starting in kindergarten is to feel the beat, right? So just really try to feel that beat and just making sure we're moving our body a little bit, and I like to do you'll see me a lot. I'll do like a little bounce kind of a thing. And I'm not thinking about doing it, you guys. It's just something that as I'm looking back at myself, I see that I do. And again, all of these things, you're like, oh, Rachel, it's easy for you. It comes naturally to you. That is true. Most of the stuff does come naturally to me. But again, I am not, what we're saying is we don't want you to transform and do something that's completely out of your character. But maybe take just one of these things this week and going forward and just challenge yourself to do one of these little things we talked about. Maybe it's just swaying back and forth a little bit. Maybe it's just a little bobbing of the head, right? Maybe it's just using your feet and just don't feel like you have to have your feet planted and leave them there, that you can move your feet a little bit and just use your movement in that way. So again, we're not trying to change you. We want you to be authentic to who you are, but just taking those, just a tiny little thing and just changing it, I think would add a lot of movement to the stage. And people see that, people see our bodies engaged, really thinking about that music, that lyrics that we're singing, it's going to make a huge impact. So I want us to think of a few things here as we close in this first video. One, we want to make sure, again, that we're just using that, your body to engage in worship. Two, in terms of stage presence, the thing that we always need to be doing that will improve everything is think about the lyrics that we're singing. Yes, even instrumentalists. I know you're thinking about so much more than us vocalists are in terms of making sure you got the right chords. Trust me, I understand. But think about the lyrics as you're going through. Know the music enough that you can think about the lyrics and make sure that you're really thinking about what we're doing as we're up there on stage and why we're there. And that will come through in our stage presence. And then number 3, just again, keep in mind, we are not trying to change you. We are not trying to make you something who you are not. We are simply trying to encourage you to express a little bit more outwardly so that we engage our congregation in praising Jesus, because that's what we're here to do. That's what we want. I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.